Most people can easily recognize the differences between a Corvette or a Lamborghini and a Corolla. To describe extreme performance cars, a variety of phrases are used. The definitions of phrases like supercar and hypercar, which are two separate sorts of vehicles, get murky towards the top of the performance scale. When a car is referred to as a supercar, you can assume that it is unique, rare, and possibly an exotic model. When a car is referred to as a hypercar, you can assume that it is one of the world's best performers. A supercar is a world-class vehicle, but a hypercar pushes the envelope of what is possible while typically being produced in smaller numbers. These are the main differences between supercars and hypercars. Supercars. Supercars have hundreds of horsepower, price tags that are above $1 million, and lap speeds that would make most race cars blush. They are the pinnacle of today's performance vehicles, and the specifications they offer surpass the best race vehicles from the past. The word supercar was initially used to describe the amazing 6.7-liter Ensign 6 in the London newspaper The Times in 1920. The phrase is now used to refer to vehicles that feature the highest performance, technology, and design available in the automobile sector. Performance, technology, design, and cost are the attributes that best describe supercars. They don't need to have high status in all four traits to be eligible, and performance is typically considered the final barometer. Take the Corvette C7 Z06 as an example. Even if it outperforms its rivals in terms of performance and lap times and has an appealing design, it only costs $80,000. Even if it's expensive, it's still a supercar. Although it has sub-3 second 0 to 60 speeds and design cues from the P1, the McLaren 650S lacks any novel or cutting-edge technology. A supercar as well. The Ariel Atom V8 is a straightforward automobile that comes next. Considering that it is just a cage on wheels, there isn't much to say in terms of design. It also costs a tiny fraction of what other supercars are set to cost, but it can outperform them on a track. The Ariel Atom's race car level of performance compensates for its straightforward design, simple technology, and affordable pricing. A supercar, however, a car must possess all the traits of a supercar and push the limits of performance, technology, and design to qualify as a hypercar. Hypercars. The term hypercar, which was created to describe the top 1% of supercars, is another. Although all hypercars are supercars, not all supercars are hypercars. While the criteria that elevate a vehicle from supercar status to the hypercar pantheon aren't immediately apparent, it becomes clear with a few examples. The 1500 horsepower Bugatti Chiron hypercar is a technological marvel, and while the Ferrari 458 is a fantastic supercar, it cannot compare. The McLaren P1, Ferrari LaFerrari, and Porsche 918 all produce close to 1000 horsepower, have state-of-the-art modern technology, cost millions of dollars, and have magnificent designs and performances that are only surpassed by one another. Each automobile represents a technological breakthrough in almost every way, placing them at the top of the automotive food chain. No compromises are allowed since hypercars are the standard by which all other automobiles are supposed to be judged. The requirements for hypercar designation have tightened as supercar technology and performance have dramatically improved. They stand for the most cutting-edge engineering and radical design, but with each new generation, the old technology and fashions become out of date. Additionally, those who criticize extreme behavior develop a callous attitude towards it. It used to be that only the most exotic models could reach top speeds of 185 miles per hour. Now family sedans like the BMW M5 can surpass that. It's the reason why a vehicle like the Lamborghini Murcielago, which was once the undisputed hypercar, keeps falling down the rankings every time a new, even crazier Aventador is unveiled. Supercars like the Ferrari 488 GTB are already utilizing simpler performance technology developed for hypercars, like adjustable aerodynamics, though at the moment that technology is too complex and expensive to put in the higher production numbers of less exclusive hypercars. Hybrid powertrains like the ones in LaFerrari and the P1 will eventually become the standard in the supercar world. The need for hypercars to remain at the forefront is also brought on by the fact that technology trickles down to supercars. What we currently consider extraordinary is destined to become typical in the future. Ferrari supercar and hypercar. Although it can be tempting to conceive of a supercar or a hypercar as a race car, one look at a vehicle like a Ferrari 488 GTB or SF90 reveals that there is more to them than meets the eye. Supercars and hypercars are in high demand because they perform stylishly, unlike race cars which have very straightforward specifications of high speed and high control. Ferrari cars have more than just that well-known shade of red. They also have fenders, ventilation, and curves and angles that balance the vehicle's performance and aesthetic requirements. What then are the design distinctions between a supercar and a hypercar? When you look at a supercar's design history, you can frequently see how its most recent iteration is based on an earlier design, which in turn was based on an earlier design. Through production, perfection is the aim. On the other hand, some drivers might find a hypercar to be a little odd looking. Occasionally, aerodynamics will triumph over overlooks, resulting in distinctive mirror designs, a lower ride, distinctive spoiler capabilities, and more. For instance, the LaFerrari was a first-of-its-kind Hypercars hybrid powertrain that was inspired by Formula One technology and merges control with efficiency. But the 488 GTB has a twin-turbo V8. The antecedents of the 488 do originate from the track, but they are a few generations older. The 488 GTB accelerates to 60 miles per hour in 3.0 seconds, whereas the LaFerrari does so in just 2.4 seconds, making for a clear distinction. What is the difference in design? Supercars and hypercars are high-performance vehicles that will outperform any everyday sports car in terms of both overall performance and lap times on the track. They are not just race cars. Hypercars, however, typically do something completely new to push the envelope in every way possible, as opposed to supercars, which typically take an iterative approach to design, taking the most cutting-edge technology and aerodynamic engineering and making it slightly better with every release. For instance, before the LaFerrari made its debut, it was thought impossible to create a hybrid with a performance comparable to that of a sports car. However, Ferrari made a breakthrough by combining an electric motor with a naturally aspirated V12 engine. Its hybrid Hypercars powertrain, which offers incredible performance with unexpected efficiency, is based on Formula One technology. More importantly, its acceleration from a standstill to 60 miles per hour takes just 2.4 seconds, supporting its claim to be a hypercar. Its top speed is 218 miles per hour. The difference in performance? We briefly discussed some surface-level design variations that can impact performance, particularly the specs. But the reality is that hypercars frequently take a different approach to drive. Here are a few instances. Electrified drivetrains. Electric motors offer near-instant torque access, giving them an advantage over conventional gasoline powertrains. They aren't just for the Prius. Hypercars are propelled in a different way than most supercars by electric motors that increase the power of a V12 or twin-turbo V8. Performance engineering. A supercar may not have a lot of performance technology because its main purpose is to travel quickly and thrill you while you're driving. Contrarily, hypercars frequently have inbuilt performance data recorders and other tools that provide you with better insight into your vehicle. Because hypercars are committed to achieving what was previously seen as impossible, their top speeds will be higher than those of supercars. A supercar like a Ferrari 488 GTB, which has a top speed of 205 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 3 seconds, is an excellent example. Supercars like the hybrid Ferrari SF90 Stradale, which has a top speed of 217 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 mile per hour time of 2.6 seconds, are far faster. What is the difference in singularity? Although hypercars are often a considerably rare commodity, both supercars and hypercars have very limited production qualities. For instance, while only 500 LaFerrari hypercars were manufactured, about 7,900 Ferrari California T supercars were. Only 210 LaFerrari Aperta models of Ferrari's renowned hybrid hypercar were made, making it even more difficult to find one. While some Ferrari owners in the Chicago area have a holy grail or two they've been after for years or decades, supercar rarity is very different. Only 500 LaFerrari hypercars were made, compared to the nearly 8,000 Ferrari California T models that were there. And there are only 210 of the LaFerrari Aperta.